Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas 2025. Here's an early Christmas present from me, Alexander Beliveau. A couple poems I've been working on for the last year or so. Thank you to Baxter Brew Co. in Lewiston. Got a smoking deal on a case. Anyways, a lot of these poems I wrote in the fall of last year, end of summer. So I want to get them out now before Christmas time while they still have a little bit of resonance. The title of the book is called Posession. I designed the cover myself. Tough to see in the candlelight, I suppose, but I did enjoy making it. It's online. And I titled it Posession because the poems are about something else taking control for a little bit. Not quite losing my faculties, but allowing another creative force to work through me. That's what I found with these poems. So I titled them Posession because I was either allowing something in, fighting against something, or just simply affirming my own self. So this one's called We Are the Main Character. It's the first poem. I say God is within me, in this form completely. I am the whole ocean inside of a raindrop. This place tries to trick me into thinking I'm an ant on a log, covered in the peanut butter of insignificance, a dried speckle on a piece of celery that fell off the cosmic blanket. I am the whole forest inside of an acorn. I'm all the lichen on every rock from Boston to Cape Horn. I am larger than any ziggurat in Sharupak, more vast than the spread of the vanilla bean. I tell you once clearly, the gods envy us. We have the spiritual existence and the physical. One last dance on the grand stage, a testament to the blessed. Money, power, avarice, all tricks. This is as hard as it gets. God is within us. Second poem is called Bleach. The coral in the ocean is bleaching. Saw the brain of the world turn white and stopped pulsating. Turtles washed ashore spewing up SIM cards on the sand. My neighbor is screaming at me while his dog barks between his syllables. He caught my car on camera when I drove through his driveway. That's trespassing on private property. Of course, we're all angry. The turtles, the corals, our driveways, the bleaching of decency all around us. Third poem is called My Cranberry Sauce, which is, I guess, fitting. Some people have cranberry sauce just at Thanksgiving. Others also have it at Christmas. I wonder what tradition you fall into. Or perhaps you hate cranberry sauce entirely. See it come out of that can, ribbed, and something is repulsed within you. And I feel bad for you, because when that fucking little thing comes out of the can, shaped like its vessel, whew, I know Christmas and the holidays are back. My cranberry sauce. You were the last turkey in my heart, so I let the stuffing spill out for 400 years, far past the end of any musket shot in cold Plymouth Rock. I dragged myself back to Neolithic Lewiston. The water from the falls crashed off the park. I heard nothing but the rustling of pine needles, yet there you are, harvesting parsnips in a pot. For a native man who has your heart. This is too clever, the world too sharp. Inlays your image on the most unexpected spot. I know I'll think of you every Thanksgiving in everywhere you aren't. Next one's called Merry Christmas Hallucinations, which is fitting because today is Monday, Christmas is Thursday. So it is fitting that we have these poems at this time of year. That's what's kind of nice about some Christmas things. You get them once a year, so you do crave them a little bit. But I can understand why anybody might not be in the spirit. But I sure as hell am. Cheers to that. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas hallucinations. I'll only be poisoned by what comes out of my mouth. Mad delusions about Santa slaughtering innocents on the wild hunt. Saturn, Odin, Satan. The sky is red for Yule and the bloodlet. But still the sacrifices, still the holly. Santa wants a beating heart for the serpent god and a stocking full of scalps. Dreams of Aztecs. If we really wanted to see our family, we wouldn't cover their faces in wrapping paper. Offer them to little Nicky and his band of warlock elves. Hold your loved ones close. The cosmic wheel runs out. I do feel there is something inherently kind of spooky about Christmas and the holidays in general. Maybe that's why we make it all bright. Maybe it is a scary time of the year. But it's tough when we're so distracted by everything. But perhaps our ancestors felt it more, and maybe we still feel it. I certainly feel it. I feel some spookiness around this time of year. It's almost like a last hurrah before the darkness. Next one's called Mr. Handsome, which is the name of my cat. The only cat in the world is Mr. Handsome. Real name, Frank O'Hara. Whole Petcos are stocked with endless litter and bags of kibble for this charming lad. Sculpted by the paws of Bast. The only worldly purpose of a squirrel is to give him brief stimulus as he warms himself by the window. All the furniture is but a sharpening station for his graceful talons. The bed is made purely for his lounging. The sun, the moon, the stars, and the sky all let out a cooing sigh when he curls up for his peaceful slumber. And I, just a lucky observer, get to pet him occasionally. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Christmas. Maybe feeling something as the holidays approach. Perhaps nothing. I keep saying that, but I enjoy it. Britney's celebration of life. So this was 2 years ago. This was Brittany Fleury's celebration of life when she passed and had her ceremony back in Westbrook, Maine. A letter to her. So it's called Brittany's Celebration of Life, but it's me writing a letter to her about the night. There we were in your family den, listening to your family talk about you and all you did, embarrassing moments, how you were as a kid. Your father started pouring out all that smoky scotch. He gathered us to listen to songs that he'd picked out in the kitchen. Nobody spoke, just shuddered at the music and slowly rocked. And after we clinked glasses, we stood with bowed heads, hearing every lyric. Something tragic about a child dying too soon. He said, if you haven't cried yet, now's your time. We wept silently, holding each other's hands, shoulders, empty glasses. Your mom held the baby and rocked it with your tears. Your sister said something about death being a revolving door. You wouldn't cross yet. I left into the night on the edge of insanity, a place between laughter and grief. We miss you, Brittany. You can let go now. There she is. Wish I could get it closer. She is a wonderful friend. And the possessions start to get more. I'm starting to see throughout the poems how easy it is to get into others' visions, other emotions. Next one is called The Final Cry of the Desperate. I hear Boudica wailing in my dreams, deep past the bogs and marshes of ancient Britannica, where crows and wolves prowl the short trees and the high grasses. She was spurned on by sexual violence and an utter adherence to the old ways. To the Iceni, everything new was blasphemous. The heated bath, the amphora of wine. Her gods lived in the groves and had horns. Would infiltrate your dreams, offering you pearls from the coast and a trip to Stonehenge on the solstice. She proceeded to burn 2 cities to the ground, crucified the Roman women after sewing their breasts to their mouth. I heard the wailing again from the spires of the Basilica in Lewiston, Maine, felt the old one stir again for revenge. Boudica led a famous revolt against the Romans after some sort of sexual assault, but she is a huge figure in the Celtic folk culture image. She is a real person, but she does have a statue, so I'd love to see that one day. They're Lewiston babies. Oh, blessed realm of opportunity and creation, a place where I can speak Portuguese, French, and Lingala to the smiling children. They hug me and ask if we can play frisbee, the muddy field, speckled with ice and trash. Take a break from math and laugh at the 3rd graders running away from overpaid staff down the hallway. We all yell, "He's dipping!" and laugh that we were all once like that. We write stories about our parents yelling at us for no reason, and other adults in our life who can't keep their promises. And if our true love exists somewhere beyond the Italian bakery, I'm not their friend, I'm their teacher. Lewiston is tough in some ways, but those children, they are some of the best in the state, without question. It's probably some of the best in the country. And you know what? They're probably some of the best in the world. I salute. The real hero of the North Pole. Merry Christmas. Somebody told me Santa was a lobster in a pot of hot dogs, pulling families apart with his claws and tired old songs. That old demon needs to be saged before he comes down my chimney, or I'll turn his reindeer into mincemeat. The only one I ever liked was Rudolph, because they bullied his ass into spiritual oblivion. Yet instead of killing the jocks, he brought them through the fog of narcissism. Not this memory. When I was young, my mother was thrown down a flight of stairs by a man who drove a Harley and did AC repairs. I was gone at my dad's house. He just told me Mom didn't live there anymore. My N64 and Legos were in storage. Part of my dad still loved her and was enraged at the carnage. I didn't see Mom for a week. Dad said Mom was sick. I found out later she was at a house for battered women. We moved into a tiny apartment off Route 1 in Kittery. I asked my mom, "Are we poor?" She looked at me with horror. I hear her weeping at night, drinking Rolling Rocks, smoking Marlboro 100s, as I curled up in a bed on the floor. The next one is called Carthage. This is a pair of poems about two different possessions from history. The first one is about Carthage and Dido. The second about Crazy Horse. Two full possessions that came to me. In that picture I just showed you of Dido, there are 4 lines written in French about her, or I suppose, yeah, I think they're French. The picture's from 1640, so this relief up here is from 1640, and there's some small words written around the photo, or the relief, or whatever you want to call it. And she says, or the writing says, in her dire adventure, her virtue appeared in the light, since she listened to love without despising nature. And that is my challenge for everyone this Christmas. Listen to love without despising nature. Sounds easy enough, but there's my challenge to you. Carthage. We fled in cedar boats from the Lebanese shore, our hearts filled with worry, the hull filled with gold. Every Phoenician can navigate by the stars, but we would always return to Canaanite harbors. Yet here we are, following a woman across the Mediterranean to establish a new city far from our home. The sons of Tyre in a new world, alone. Dido, our queen, brings us to the bubbling springs. We wet our hands and face and raise thanks to Tanit, the goddess of the moon and portal hopping. Here we step into a new realm, a place we can call Carthage. The fire under the brazen bull has begun, the ritual of Baal Haman. It is my duty to my city, my gods, to cast my firstborn. Drums, drums. This one's called Crazy Horse. I got very into learning about him when I was listening to a podcast on Custer. Basically, the main characters are Custer, Crazy Horse, and Sitting Bull. So, a really cool cast of characters in the American West, and just a very interesting story, but obviously filled with tragedy. This poem's called Crazy Horse. A man must have good medicine before we listen to him, as well as have the Great Spirit working through his rifle. May the great plains go to the strongest crow, or anyone brave enough to bomb the railroad. Crazy Horse was knifed on a reservation. I read about in old yellow newspaper pages. Yet maybe he's still out there bashing every Custer he can get his hands on, chasing the ghost of the buffalo through valleys untouched by engines and coal. When we look inside of ourselves, we see the world. One campfire, stars, and our soul exposed. I want to leave this world and everybody in it, said Crazy Horse to the river. The next one's called How Many Chances Do We Get at Love for Tyler Rollins. This is from and for my friend Tyler Rollins, if he's watching my poetry. That would be a surprise, but a welcome surprise. So he said, how many chances do we get at love? Well, he didn't say that, but he told me a story at a bar once that inspired this poem, so it's for him. He left her in Spain, far away from the islands of Portland, Maine. She wept in a vineyard for 2 days and took hot baths mixed with the blood of bulls. It was her birthday. He had forgotten to mail her. His mind had wandered out of her harbor. Then a waiter served him lemon with his oysters. He was transported. He saw the trees of España, the spires of Granada, the salt of the Mediterranean kissing the walls of dead crusaders. Her tear-soaked face came into his vision. He tried to call, but he'd been blocked. Tried to write a letter, but got the postage wrong. His mind was stuck on rewind. She told him in broken English as her dark nails massaged his blonde head that she would come to him if only he would write to her for her birthday. It was all she had ever dreamed of. She had never gotten a letter from across the lonesome ocean, wanted romance to exist. Had fate notion of Maine and evergreen trees. Of course, my love, he said with full intent as he fell asleep in her lap. The Andalusian sunlight casting shadows across the decks. You ask yourself that. Or you just believe that every connection that has broken wasn't supposed to be anyways. Other times you're like, oh shit, like that was really close. When I was talking to Tyler, I got the sense that he thought that one was close. He thought that one was close. The most important person. The most important person in my life I've never met. She died when I was 3 years old and couldn't form memories yet. Sometimes I see her in stories told, telling me how happy she was the day I was born. And after all the suffering she had gone through, my face made her forget all those years of unspoken abuse. She's my guardian angel, not some ghost lost to time and space. My journey is the journey she gets to have with me every step of the way. We experience all things together, for I am never truly alone. Now my grandfather is in a home, bleary-eyed and bored. The family is falling apart. I open my mouth. It's my grandmother's voice. Rest in peace, Estelle. And rest in peace to my grandmother Kathleen as well. Magic is real is the title of the next poem. Magic is real. I told you trolls and fairies are just as real as electrons and fiat currency. The real reason a spell works isn't from a dark pact made in a cave in the Sahara. It's because someone held your hand and said, I saw the dragons too. The only tales that come from a tomb are people consumed with saying goodbye to ghosts. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to be a wizard, all you need is a few imps to carry the end of your robe and someone to corroborate the story you've told. Here are 3 poems about summer lovin'. So it's called Summer Lovin' in 3 poems. First one, Celtic Blessing. My baby has tattooed hands like the art walks down her fingers in Biddeford. She always puts others first. Whether it's their hair or just knowing that she cares about them enough to ask questions. My blessing is low-key juicy, like a lemon that fell off a tree into my lap to squeeze. She pleases me immensely. always asking me questions that take moments to answer. We eat carbs at fancy bars and live too far away from one another. But even if she's across the room, she might as well be in Jacksonville or Tanzania or other places I can't get my hands on her. Even at the wedding, we had other people deliver notes and candle wax. She is so powerful, everyone wants her heart, or at least be a part of her presence for just one lovely minute before I swoop in from behind to slow grind and count the sneaky freckles on her olive skin. I think we were once lovers in ancient Ireland, somehow brought back together to hold each other by the Atlantic Ocean once more. My body aches when she disappears into the highway that separates us. I've been looking for her for so long. A few remarks on miracles. Just a few. Once again, Merry Christmas. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Or just listening whenever. Yes, it is a monstera that is framing my head right now. Perfectly. A few remarks on miracles. I'm sitting at Sacred Profane, waiting to put her in my arms and whisper soft things. She smells like sun-kissed wine and hibiscus. I'm the Saracen who found the lush grove on the far side of the cliff. The real miracle is putting back together the pirate ship. The ship is 1,000 Lego pieces that got dropped on the floor. The ship was a divorce. You swam to shore. That's the real miracle. Instead of putting up your own Jolly Roger, you dreamed of more. Of course you kept your rapier, your sling of pistols, a few scars from your exploits. But the world is no longer blood red. You saw life drain from the face of someone you loved while still in their bed. Even the pirate lass can tuck her cannon back in the hull and dream of coconut flesh. The green water's green because you are Irish blessed. Any cutlass can be a clover because you finally love yourself. The real miracle is that the world presented you to me. Didn't have to die portside fighting for my life with a tattered notebook on my side. Baby, I'd swim to the bottom of the ocean to find you. The miracle is proving to time that we exist. Found a place to kiss in Biddeford by the Saco River where I can appreciate you, my little miracle. Last of the summer-loving Posession poems. Thank you for sticking. Salad Tuesday is the next one. This is the last in the summer-loving threes. We're going to get out of that possession. Because it's a possession. You're done with it, and then you write about it later, and it's possessing you. It's all, every energy experience wants a piece of your pen, and you have to decide, well, I usually open up the floodgates, but I have to decide later what I actually want to keep. Salad Tuesday. Last night they canceled the poetry